Hello and welcome to this conversation with the captain at the World Cup stage, her biggest stage of all, 22 years. In fact, I was speaking to Sophie Devine and she said Mithali can be an institution telling everybody how to remain at the top of her game for 22 years, can be a business school case study. But Mithali, final time, perhaps, who knows, leading India into the greatest stage of all. Thoughts about the World Cup?
Well, honestly, if I think about the World Cup, there is a bit of nervousness how things will go for India, and knowing that that's going to be my last World Cup. But then again, I've always believed in preparation. So if I'm preparing well, right, I take that confidence into the World Cup, and the sort of team that we've been building in the last 2-3 years for this World Cup, and the way the team is shaping in the last 2-3 series. I think I find the team as a unit is doing well. It's just a matter of gelling together and performing on that particular day.
Talk to me about the format. I mean, is this a good format that you play all 8 teams? Everyone plays each other and then the semi-finals and finals.
I think I would prefer this, playing a league and then the knockout, because you still get, as you mentioned, another chance. If you have a bad game, you can always make a comeback into the tournament. I remember the 2013 World Cup where it was played in the Super 6 format, where we lost to England, and then the game against Sri Lanka became so important that we went on to lose that, and we were out of the Super 6, being the host team in that World Cup. So I think that was quite a disappointing World Cup. And the format, obviously, as I mentioned, it is always better to play a league, because you can always make up. Even if you have a low net run rate, you can always make up with teams later on. You can plan how you want to go ahead in the tournament.
This time it's about, this craze about Mithali Raj, last tournament, World Cup, big stage. How about that? I mean, you appreciate that? I mean, you enjoy that kind of pressure, or you just take it out of your mind saying, who cares? Let me just focus on the job at hand.
Well, I think sometimes it does play on my mind, but I guess as athletes, when we get onto the ground, that is how we are conditioned to focus on the current situation at the ground, and how you counter that. I've also found a way, whenever I feel the nervousness, I try and interact with the youngsters, because they give a very different energy. So it feels nice to be among a bunch of youngsters who don't have the sort of pressure that an experienced player carries into the World Cup.
This is a fascinating one. Tell me a little bit more. Did you evolve this yourself, or it just happened?
Well, there were times when I looked up to the team for the sort of confidence, because even as a captain, there are games when you feel that pressure, that it is a do or die situation, and you alone have to give the confidence to the team. But there were a couple of games where I looked up to the team, and sometimes I would find the seasoned players also on the same ship that I am traveling, like Julian, and sometimes I see them under pressure. But there are some youngsters who don't care about what the situation is. Because probably they are a couple of series into the international circuit, so they don't carry the experience of the past, and that actually is quite refreshing. I remember this one instance recently in the IPL Women's Challengers in Dubai. Shefali was in my team, so there was the second game where I asked her, I said, "Kya karna hai? Do you want to bat or do you want to field?" So she said, "Kuch bhi ho, Didi, I am prepared. Jo bhi hoga, dekha jayega, bas confidently jayenge." So as a captain, when you feel that you're not able to make a decision whether you want to bat or bowl, and when you ask a youngster and she gives an answer like that, then you always feel that, okay, it eases out a bit of nervousness. Then that okay, let's go in with an open mind and see what the day has in store for you.
Some of your players played in the 100, some of your players played in the WBBL and played extremely well. Do these things help in terms of in your preparation, because they've had experience of playing in different conditions against good teams, franchise cricket? Does that help in terms of building this team up for the World Cup?
I think it does help them individually as players, because any game time, any time on the field, whichever format that is, as long as you're scoring runs, being in the rhythm as a bowler, as a batter, it is always a good preparation before a big event like the World Cup. And this time, I think in the WBBL, we had more than 3 or 4 girls, good to 8 to 9 girls. Even a young player like Richa Ghosh got an opportunity to be in that platform. So I'm sure she would also carry some of her experiences from those matches. But again, it's important that, before a World Cup, she gets to play these matches against quality bowlers or play along with senior players from different countries, have their own inputs. So that really will help a young player.
Sachin was on this show, and I said to him, Sachin, our team is going to the World Cup. And he said, look, when you're talking to Mithali, tell her, I waited 22 years. She's waited 22 years. Something will happen.
Yes, I really hope so that it should be the World Cup for the Indian women's cricket team, because it is something I feel that every World Cup we get in, I think this is the best side, that is, best opportunity for the Indian team, because the sort of preparation we got thanks to BCCI with the 2 test matches, the quality one-day series that we played against South Africa at home, playing England in England, playing Australia in Australia. So we played against the best sides at their home soil, and that itself is a challenge. And in those conditions, we've done well. The result may not be what it should be, but I think preparation wise, I'm sure the girls know now what is expected of them in the roles that is assigned to them.
I also think in the 50 over format, we have our best team. Maybe because you've been leader for a long time, you've been able to build a team around you. But this is perhaps the most settled format for India. Do you agree?
Yes, I definitely agree so, because I think over the years we were able to give enough opportunities for young players. I remember in 2016, Deepti Sharma, Smriti, all these girls were young. And the 2017, I'm sure the World Cup has given them experience. But after the 2017 World Cup, the sort of exposure these girls got playing various leagues, playing internationals, and the sort of itinerary that we had, I think it really helped these players to gain experience. And now we have a very experienced team. I wouldn't say young side, but more seasoned players.
So much for the team. Now let me just get to Mithali Raj, the individual and the player. You've always been one for preparation, be it during COVID, be it earlier. What was your thing like, mentally and physically, your build-up, your training, camps, etc.?
I think usually what most of the athletes do in the middle phase of their career or in the beginning of their career is we prefer more into a physical fitness and a skill preparation, very less that we invest in our mental and emotional preparation. And that is something that I have started to do in the last 1 year, because I know that I cannot be playing forever, but if not now, when? And now is the time that I want to sort of tick every box when I prepare. And it not necessarily has to only limit myself to my batting or fielding or fitness training, but it also has to do with my tactics, my strategy, and what sort of compositions that I'm going to work on. And if there is a pressure situation, sometimes even in practice, I try and put myself in a situation where we've lost 6 wickets and I have a tail to bat. And that is how I prepare, because I think preparation is something which is in our control. I don't know, and I can't foresee what would the scenario be in the World Cup. But the best chance I can give myself is to prepare the way I can.
Last one, two rather. One, any particular team? Australia, is that the team? Is England the team? Any particular team that you have in mind? Okay, you know what? Obviously, the first match, again, I mean, when you play Pakistan, the whole country will be mad, right? It's Pakistan, for God's sake. So thoughts on the India-Pakistan game, and then any particular team in mind that you have to prepare specially for?
Well, I think World Cup, you prepare for every team. And I would prefer to beat a team when they are at their best, because then we are playing our best game. So whether it's Pakistan, England, New Zealand, doesn't matter. It's just that India have to win every game they play in the World Cup.
Yeah, but Pakistan, additional pressure?
Well, if you keep asking me about the game, clearly you're building that pressure now. But I guess that, no matter how many times we tell ourselves this is another game, but the build up around that game, around that day is always there from the organizations, from fans, from everybody, from media. But as players, we definitely look at it as one more, the start of the World Cup, and we would like to start it on a winning note.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mithali. All the very best to you.
Thank you.